Hi, Hannah. How you doing?
Hello, how are you? I'm good.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to the Coffee with Sepper show.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So let's start. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm looking forward to your answers.
I'm excited as well.
Awesome. So first, let's introduce yourself to the audience.
So I'm Hannah. I'm 20 years old. I currently live in the East Bay of San Francisco. What I'm doing on social media is trying to end the stigma around eating disorders and mental health, and debunk some common misconceptions about them. And also just educating people about the lies we've been taught about health and beauty in our society.
I know you do a lot of work regarding fat phobia and terms along those lines. Can you explain what fat phobia is to the audience?
Yeah, so fat phobia is essentially the phobia of being fat, and it's something that society has ingrained into us. So breaking it down really simply, it's the fear of weight gain, and the fear of developing fat on your body. And a great educator, Virgie Tovar, she kind of breaks it down into two different sections, if you will. So there's internalized fat phobia, which is our own internal fear of weight gain. And then it goes all the way to institutionalized fat phobia, which is society not being designed for people in larger bodies. So the seats being too small on planes, roller coasters, buses, not being able to find certain sizes in clothing stores, and even being treated differently in medical offices and not being able to receive certain treatment because of their size. So that's essentially what fat phobia is on both levels.
What can we do to unlearn this type of thinking?
Yeah, so honestly, put in the work to educate yourself. I recommend books and podcasts. Christy Harrison is a great podcast host and author to start out with. She has a podcast called Food Psych and a book called Anti-Diet. And she really goes into depth explaining the science and history of everything we've been taught in society about health and beauty. And then from there, she interviews great people and she references amazing dietitians and scientists in her books that are also worth looking into. And then also just diversifying like your social media feed, because all of us consume social media every day. And so seeing people in fat bodies and disabled bodies and queer bodies and really getting used to looking at them so you don't view it as something that's like wrong or weird or even just unique, because everyone is like totally normal and should just be accepted.
What is one goal you're trying to accomplish with the work you're doing?
Honestly, this sounds kind of vague, but I think ultimately just inspiring people to be authentic and accept themselves as they are, regardless of their mental health status or their body or whatever it is, because a lot of times society tells us that we're not enough as we are. And I think that's a big fat lie.
Yeah, I mean, Hannah, all these things you're doing, it's so empowering more than
Oh,
anything.
thank you.
I think that in a world we live in, we need more people like you. Is
Oh,
that
thank you.
because you're fighting for one of the biggest injustices.
Yeah.
And not only for women, I think for men as well. I think it's
Yeah.
both ways. But I see it more for women, unfortunately, And
Yeah.
it hurts me is that, sexiness or beauty is defined by your weight. So I think that is BS. I think
Yeah.
beauty goes along more deeper lines than that. Beauty is a lot more things than just your size. And I think, unfortunately, we live in a society where it is encouraged to think that way. It is encouraged to think that there is this ideal type of body that everyone should strive to. But in reality, if you look at all the population, every single human being, we have one big, we have one small, we have one short, we have one tall. It's beauty in its own way. Like, everyone is beautiful. And unfortunately, we see in society that they say, don't be, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too fat, you're too thin. And it bothers me, is that I personally don't look at the world like that.
Yeah.
You are defined by who you are, how you look like. That's beautiful in your own way. Like, it's really
Exactly.
it's interesting. What do you think about that?
No, I 100% agree. And I think we're all trying to fit, whether it be men, women, people in trans bodies, queer bodies, disabled bodies, like, we're all trying to fit this one standard that is unrealistic for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, scientifically, weight is just as genetically predetermined as height. And so it's something, despite what society tells us, it's something that we don't have a lot of control over. And I feel like we just need to start accepting ourselves as we are and stop trying to change to fit this norm, because if we all looked the same and had this one ideal body, then the world would be like really boring and not fun.
I'm going to Mars.
Yeah, like, that would just be really sad. And I think we just need to start seeing all different kinds of beauty, and not just the thin ideal or the muscular ideal for men. And yeah,
definitely. There's this one America's Got Talent contestant that you put on your story. Her name was she danced, and I think Heidi Klum buzzed her.
Yes, I know exactly who. Amanda Count, I believe her name is.
Count, yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that video, like, I was like so happy. It brings a different perspective to everything that we've been taught, everything that people still bully people for.
Yeah.
And we're breaking barriers one by one. And I think if there's one thing that I or you is trying to accomplish, is that let's break those things that we've been taught, break those norms that don't have any meaning to it, don't have any definition. There's no realistic point of view to look at it. And I feel like that contestant really stepped in such a good direction for everyone to also kind of, okay, we can do it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so empowering. What did you think about that?
Yeah, so I've been following her for probably like 5 or so months now, and I just love her because she just like radiates joy. And when she has other dance videos on her Instagram, and I just love it because she's just owning herself and her body. And I think she has her own hashtag, and it's hashtag breaking the stereotype.
Yeah.
And I love it too, because I grew up dancing, and something that's definitely hard is seeing most dancers have, like, they're thin and white. And so it's really hard. Like, it was really hard for me to be on dance teams and just be so afraid of not being thin.
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing this amazing girl just owning herself and dancing just like no one's watching, like she just is doing what she loves. And it kind of, I think, shows people that even if they gain weight, and which is society's like one of their worst fears, like they can still do what they love. Like, you can gain weight and you can be a fat dancer, you can be a fat doctor, a fat scientist. Like, seeing these people, it normalizes in our minds. If we see it continuously, just like it normalizes it for us, and seeing that you can be anything regardless of what you look like. And I think she's really showing that, and I love that.
Definitely. Yeah, there's one more too. I love Lizzo. I don't know if you.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
god.
I love Lizzo.
Oh, like this is
I
what
love
it is. We're
her.
gonna kill it. It's just so cool to
Mhm.
watch. And I think Lizzo has kind of changed a lot of perspectives. And
Yeah.
I'm like watching her in the awards show and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so badass.
She's incredible
I
and
know.
so inspiring.
I know. And I love her flute.
Oh my gosh, I know. And I think like she and I love how when people talk about her, they rarely mention her body.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
about her talent and the energy she radiates. Like it's nothing to do with how she looks. And
I
I
know.
love her. She's
No,
an amazing
it
human.
is. The thing I wanted to bring up, Hannah, was that the psychological the stress that women, or in many cases men as well, but we're just focusing on women for today, that they go through just every day. This is like something I hear often, is that I'm on a diet. I am oh, I'm not gonna eat this, I'm gonna get fat. I'm not gonna have ice cream, I'm not gonna have this. And for me, diet is temporary, and it's something. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. Let's say that, like, they make money off it. Like the people in big corporations, the people who are on top.
Yeah.
For us, yeah, for me, it's about a lifestyle. It's not about diet. It's about what can I do every day to maintain a lifestyle, because diet is temporary. I'm gonna break a point, you know. And for me, I want to be doing what I want. Even if I want ice cream, okay, I'll have ice cream. If I think society puts such negative connotations to these things, the people who are surrounded by these types of thinking, they think, like, they feel bad too. It's like, well, I want to eat ice cream, and someone else sees ice cream, be like, oh, I'm on a diet, I'm not gonna eat it. How is that going to make me feel, or how is it going to make someone else feel? And it's really interesting, is that, okay, have one ice cream, it's not gonna kill you. I'm not eating ice cream constantly.
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem. Okay, I understand that. But, once, maybe 2-3 times a week, or once a week, that's not a problem. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think society has taught us to moralize food. So you're bad if you eat the ice cream and you're good if you eat a salad. Like,
Yeah.
and food isn't good or bad. Like, it's just food. And when you really break it all down, it's all just atoms, and it all has like basic nutritional value, whether it's ice cream or veggies.
Mhm.
And ultimately, I am a big advocate for intuitive eating and just kind of eating what you want. And I think a lot of people are kind of scared, like you said, like, of just constantly then eating ice cream. And I think that's not going to happen, because our bodies strive for balance. Like, if we just tune into our bodies, which can be a privilege a lot of times, because if you're food insecure and you can't afford certain foods or whatever it is, but ultimately, if you have the means to just listen to your body and be able to get whatever food you want, your body's gonna strive for balance. And sometimes it will want pizza, and that may be for like an entire week. And then the next week it will want tons of veggies. Like, it depends. And so I think I heard on a podcast recently, it's not even about trying to strive for balance in a day, but it's more like over the course of like an entire month, and not just pressuring yourself to meet certain like standards or for food or whatever it is. And just knowing that food shouldn't make you feel guilty or shameful. Like, it's food and it's pleasurable, and emotional eating sometimes serves a purpose. Eating a salad sometimes serves a purpose. And just knowing that you're worthy, even if you don't pick the salad.
I definitely agree. And I hope that our society kind of goes on that direction of thinking more like on these types of terms. And once this type of like behavior occurs, is that mention it. Don't let it pass. It's like, when you let it pass, where's that gonna go? Is that they're gonna keep repeating that type of behavior? But if you at least like give them a little push, they're like, oh yeah, you're right. I never thought about it that way. Because many people don't think about it that way or this way. You know,
Yeah.
they limit themselves on this line, and they don't think there's the many lines in the between. Is that they think there's this, as I said, as you said, this ideal that we're all supposed to strive to, but there's no ideal. Who made the ideal?
Exactly.
Who made the ideal? You know, it's just, it's unnecessary.
Yeah. And I think when you mention like people saying like, oh, I'm on a diet, so I can't eat whatever, my first like instinct reaction was to just roll my eyes and be like, oh my God, like seriously? But it's also, you have to have compassion for those people because it's something we've all been taught, like, and it's really hard to unlearn, especially when you get treated differently in society if you look a certain way. So yeah, it's definitely, like you said, it's like there's many paths and there's not one perfection. And it's just finding our own way through it all.
Anna, thank you so much for coming. It was a joy, absolute joy talking to you and hearing your wonderful perspectives on life, on body, on woman, on men. It was really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.